Hey, morning. First warning, meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. I wish that I had better weather for you outside right now, but I don't. Ground stop in effect now for air travel heading into Orlando International Airport. Why? Just look outside. This is a shot from our tower cam on the West 2 Studios tower, looking toward Altamont Springs. I-4 slow going because of all the rainfall. Slick roads, I could tell you, the flashes of lightning are prevalent. It is a busy morning out there, and we have to make sure not to drive like knuckleheads. Seriously, can you handle it? Can you handle it? I hope you can. It's pouring outside. Yeah, we're going to be showing our live radar in the bottom left corner throughout Coffee Talk. But that said, let's just get right over to it and bring you a full look. Wait, you can see the flashes of lightning there for sure. Bring you a full look at our first warning live Doppler radar. Heavy downpours moving right through the heart of the metro area, right? Yeah. Where I live, where you live, where we live, it's just pouring outside. Yeah. You know what? That bottom corner box is going to annoy me because it doesn't have the right. Hold on a second. This is where being in dad mode did not allow me to do this. Let me just fix the bottom corner real quick. It'll take me 2 seconds. All right, we'll do that. We'll show Volusia. Save you. And then we'll come over here. Save you. Save. Okay. That's what that is, by the way. It's just a little graphic that I have that allows us to update it. Okay. All right. Back to the full. It will eventually update. Into the metro, though, it is pouring down rain. You can see that line. Now, why is it fading? Because we're experiencing what's known as attenuation. The rain is not lighter. If we switch over to the Melbourne radar, it's still bright red. But our radar, being that it's soaked over top of it, we experience the rain fade. So let's just zoom in and you can kind of see here the very heavy stuff moving right into downtown Orlando. Flashes of lightning, rumbles of thunder. It's extending all the way up here to New Smyrna Beach and all the way down here through Claremont. Yes, another active and stormy morning across Central Florida. There's all that. And by the way, notice out into the Gulf of Mexico, there is another offshoot of energy firing up. This has been one of those really weird scenarios. And it's going to continue for at least a little bit longer's time. So let's look at the forecast for today, okay? We've got showers. Let me load up the half screen version here. We've got showers. We've got thunder showers this morning. Then we'll get a little bit of a break. Then we'll get another round of showers and thunder showers because it's just so much fun, right? Love all the lightning around. All around. And I've got kids that are unhappy. Oh, it's so fun. That said, how are you this morning? Good morning to you. Let me scroll up and see some of the comments. Stay off the roads if you can. Don't use your flashers if you drive. Yeah, that's dangerous to do. We have to be careful if we're out there for sure. Karen, good morning. Frankie, good morning. Sometimes I feel, Jeremy says. Yeah, sometimes I think we all feel. Marie, good morning to you. Good morning. Yolanda, good morning to you. There, see, now we've got the updated radar, so that's good. Jan says, I know we need the rain, but I know. I must get to the post office. What time may be good travel time? Southeast Orlando, I need an hour window. Well, I mean, look, this stuff is coming through. Then we're going to get a little bit of a break. And then we're going to be able to recycle and get more of the storms. So it's not a matter of when is it going to be perfectly quiet. I mean, right now, at least in the metro, it's just pouring down rain. I mean, that's where we're at. But let's look up our Futurecast and let's pull up if I could spell it correctly. Let's just pull it up and get an idea of where we're going here, right? All right, so here's Futurecast, a little bit of a recycle through midday, and then we're going to fire up more shower thunderstorm activity into the afternoon. So, I would say once this morning rush passes through, and let me dial up the radar. Just because of the attenuation and because I'm here, I can at least pulse it up. So what did I just do? I just manually cranked up the radar's intensity to try and... I may need to do it another... Yeah, I need to do it like another 2 dBz. Because I'm here, because I'm able to... let's see, from 5 to 4. I'm just trying to... match. Yeah. Okay. So you see how it got brighter. I'm going in and I'm manually fighting that attenuation. So that's just where we're at. Terry says we had 4.5 inches since 11 o'clock last night. Oh my gosh, that's wild. That's wild stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Raven, good morning. Who had kiddos wake up too early from Nature's Rock concert? I know, right? Yes. Confirmed. Good wet morning. How are ya? Good morning to you. All right, let's see here. Olivia says, love the rain. Yeah, I mean, we don't love necessarily. Let me just compare. I still need, I think, to tweak it up one more dBz. One more. All right. So, yeah, so this is one of those things when you have your own live radar, you have to work the radar, and so that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Let me just text Camzen. No, Kellyanne's in this morning. Let me just text Kellyanne. Oh, Kellyanne class. Hey, I'm manually working the radar right now to fight the rain fade. Just so you know. All right. That way she's not completely like caught off guard. All right. All right. So anyway, my apologies for that, but you can see how the rain was nasty and then it kind of faded down. So I just had to do a little fighting. And the easiest way to calibrate it is to just look at Melbourne, look at us. I may need to bring it. That's us. That's Melbourne. I may need to come up just a little bit more. Yeah, I'll come up one more. And then the problem is that as it leaves, I have to start bringing it back down. So that's fun. But that's what you do. Okay. All right. So anyway, it's pouring. That much we can tell. My 2 70-pound German Shepherds have become lap dogs. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely the case. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good morning. All right. So what questions does anybody have? It's pouring. That much is sure, right? Like downtown Orlando, just starting to see the heavy rains working into town, up through Pine Hills, Goldenrod, Aloma Elementary, around Oviedo. It is pouring. Back over to Forest City, Wekiva Springs area. It is just pouring. Lake Mary, Heathrow area. A good steady rain, but we're going to be watching some more of that crossing over the 419. And then up here into Volusia County, Edgewater. Look at that. Good, steady, heavy rains for you. There's that live radar sweep coming through. Yeah, good stuff. Not necessarily the best timing, but good heavy rain, which we need. Around Groveland and Claremont, there's some good heavy rains out that direction. Wind velocity not picking up on anything too wicked, so that's good. But good heavy rainfall indeed. Don't let me forget, by the way, I have to come back to once this heavy rain leaves downtown, I'm going to have to drop that gain back down so that our radar isn't, wildly loud, because I manually cranked up the volume essentially, and then I have to crank it back down as those storms exit. So for those of you asking for theme parks and stuff today, listen, it's not going to be a perfect theme park day, at all. As long as you know that, We're good to go. There is going to be a little bit of a quieter moment there where we'll have just a 30% coverage of showers and storms, but then into the 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame, the rains move up. Little by little, the rains move up. Shannon says, yesterday was terrifying. Our power lines went down in the yard and the transformer blew. Oh my God, yeah, that is terrifying. Sparks were flying toward the house and inside smelled like smoke. We were evacuated by the fire department until they could clear everything. That is terrifying. I can confirm that that would be a terrifying experience. I've never gone through that. But if I did, that would be terrifying. Oh my goodness. Wow. Melissa's asking, so what's tomorrow looking like? Right, because today's Friday. See, my brain isn't even operating. I slept in the kids' room last night because Alexander's tummy is hurting him. And so, yeah, so we're back to that. I just want to look. Yeah, so both Futurecast models are not handling this morning's rain well, but do try to develop that afternoon stuff, right? All right, now what about tomorrow, right? A lot of people have plans for the weekend. I'll be on West New Sunrise, of course, but let's just kind of come through time here. Morning is quiet. Now, understand, computer models are guidance, not gospel. So this is one of those weather patterns where the models do a bad job, so we have to watch, okay? Just so that we know, okay? All right, so let's bring it full. Here's Futurecast for tomorrow morning. All right, quiet, but into the afternoon, we'll fire up stormy weather, metro off to the east. Okay, so that's kind of at least the idea for right now. That's what we're looking at for right now. Does it play out perfectly like that? In this kind of a weather pattern, I can almost promise you it does not. But we'll have to watch. The one thing we do know, though, is that it is so wet. Flood watch continues for our friends here in Marion, Alachua, Putnam counties through 8 o'clock tonight. Hopefully that will be able to go out and be done. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, okay? It has been gross outside. It's going to continue to be gross outside, right? Just wave after wave of rain. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Heavy stuff about to move into Claremont. Let me put a lapse on this for you. Now, of course, the problem with this lapse is that you can very clearly see where the rains are moving in, so the rain fade kicks in, and then you can see where I fixed it, right? So comparing Melbourne radar, Tampa radar, and us. So we're fixed. I was able to fix the attenuation, but Claremont, heads up, you've got some nice heavy downpours moving in. All right. Any other questions for a moment? Otherwise, we can move on from this downpour activity for a little bit. We'll come back to it. And then we can move on to the tropics. I know a lot of you are wondering about the tropics, and we have a couple of storms out there to track. How's theme parks looking? Again, it was a dark and stormy morning. It's going to be a dark and stormy day. We'll have a window midday where the coverage of rain goes down just a little bit, right? Like 30%. And then we get storms again. So as long as you know that, you're good to go. All right, Robert? Sorry, buddy. All right. Any other questions? There is a 100% chance of rain. There's not a 100% chance of rain because not 100% of us have gotten rain yet. You see where we go with that? Where's it moving? It's kind of drifting off toward the south and east. Yeah. So that's where it's moving. I have kids crying and dogs whining. Hillary, that's the stuff, isn't it? I feel you there. Mickey's asking about the Keach-Byram Drought Index. Oh, yeah, that thing. Listen, we had a new drought index. Here's the Keach-Byram Drought Index, just for proof positive. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We had a new drought monitor come out yesterday. All of Central Florida out of a drought. Sumter County, abnormal, but Southwest Florida, which was in an exceptional situation, is done. We widen it out, and of course, across other parts of the country, there's still a drought. But again, looking at the Sunshine State as a whole, we're doing pretty okay here. You know how we can tell we're doing pretty okay? Just by getting waves after waves after waves of rain moving into Central Florida. Okay? Any other questions? Otherwise, let us move on to the tropics. Janet says, when you first lost weight, I wondered if you were going too low, but I stand corrected. Thankfully, you look like you've settled into a very healthy weight. Congratulations. Thank you. I always laughed when people would say you're losing too much weight because I'm like, I don't have control over it. Like, my body is doing its thing, Oh, Patrick, can you issue meteorologist's notes instead of doctor's notes? I feel like I could start a secondary business doing something like that. Right? What do you think? I kind of like the idea. Is any of that coming down to Melbourne? Yeah, it's all going to be trying to work that direction. You'll get some. If you don't get it now, you'll get it later. Margaret's asking, is Daytona going to get a second round later? I think so. Yeah, I think that Central Florida will get a second round later. Yeah. So much fun. Not. Okay. Any questions about what we have discussed locally so far? If not, we can move on to the tropics. Couple of things out in the tropics. First off, let's look at Brett. Tropical storm Brett moved into the Caribbean yesterday. I'll just move that box and you can kind of see that's where the center of circulation is now. Just some squally weather from Martinique up through the northern islands there. Nothing too significant. Winds are at 60 miles an hour right now. The good news is we've not gotten any reports. Let me move this camera just a little bit. And I think I can turn on gusts. Do I have the gusts? I do. I don't know if they've gotten... I'm just going to tweak this around last 12 hours. And I'll move the camera here. And the tropical track. Let's do data time. Okay, so there's the center of circulation. Now, I will say that the Martinique radar has been down. But, and then instead of this, we can put on this. And instead of banner, text goes here. Let's do live radar. Okay. All right. So, and we don't need, the radar is not really doing much because the radar is down. But center of circulation comes through, and look, 10:30 last night, 69 mile per hour wind gust near the center of circulation. You see that? So, it was rocking and rolling as that moved through. But back here, 69 mile per hour wind gust. And then it looks like they either lost that, but that was like right in that burst of convection there. So anyway, that's that. The forecast for Brett continues to show the storm system weakening as it works into the Caribbean Sea. There's the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center, anticipated to drop off 50 miles per hour by this afternoon, 45 miles per hour tomorrow morning, and then 35 miles per hour by Sunday morning as a tropical depression. So Tropical Storm Brett will continue to weaken. Staying south of the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico, so good for our friends and our family there, right? Little by little, things will continue to get better, continue to get better. Yeah. All right. Any questions about that? Nicole says we had winds and hail yesterday. Oh, wow. You watched shingles blow down the street? That's terrible. Wow. Okay. All right. So that's Brett. Any questions about Brett? Anything? I will get to the annual rainfall deficit stuff again, but right now we're talking tropics. Any questions about Brett so far? Y'all keep asking the same questions, but we'll get back. You don't have to get frustrated, Chris. I'm on the tropics note. All right, we'll get back to it. All right. Just a reminder, locally, I've heard stories from 2 different people about how someone they know got struck by lightning. It's true. Let's not tempt fate. We need to be very, very careful, friends. Absolutely have to be very, very careful. Okay? All right, so that's Brett. Let's move on and take a look at Cindy. Formed last night at 11 o'clock. Of course, I opened the wrong graphic. Cindy formed last night at 11 o'clock. I saw them change the database just after 8 o'clock last night. So we knew that they were going to do that upgrade. There are the two storms. Let me zoom in a bit more. So you've got Brett and you've got Cindy. Saving, exit, run. Okay. All right. So there's Brett on the left. Center of circulation is in the Caribbean. Cindy's looking better organized for sure. We had expected this to play out, so no big surprises there. Cindy's not going to become a massive hurricane, thankfully, but Cindy is going to be getting stronger. There's the latest forecast advisory from the National Hurricane Center on Cindy. Expected to get a bit stronger. Current winds are at 45 miles per hour. The anticipation is that we get up to 60, get close to hurricane status. And then as it gets up east of Florida, outside of the Turks and Caicos Islands, it runs into some wind shear. Tropical systems, my friends, do not like wind shear. So what ends up happening is it starts to fall apart. I've had friends from the Carolinas down here locally asking, are we going to get Cindy? And it's like, let's watch. We're still days and days out. All right, so no huge concerns, but we do need to watch it for sure. Will Brett be a threat to Jamaica, Ronnie? No, it's going to stay south of Jamaica. Forecast cone actually has it falling apart well south of Jamaica. So Brett, less and less of a concern. Cindy, yeah, we'll watch Cindy. I'll show you. That's the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center. This is the computer model data. Kind of starting to want to do more of a right-hand turn even. So, things are looking better and better. Let me just check in on our radar, make sure as this rain moves out that I recalibrate it for Kellyanne. We're still okay. We're even a little weak, if honest. There's Melbourne. There's us. So, yeah, so we're still good. But in a couple of minutes, as that heavy stuff moves out, I'm going to have to recalibrate it. So I'm going to just have to, suffice it to say, even though we're talking tropics, I am going to have to keep eyeballs on the live radar because Kellyanne's on the air and I am kind of taking over, tweaking around with the radar a bit. All right, Tina, why are the paths so different for the two when it looks like they're right next to each other right now? Timing and location. They're hundreds of miles, when you think about it, they are right next to each other, but think relatively. You're talking hundreds of miles apart. And that makes all the difference in the world. And when one gets to another's, like when Cindy gets to where Brett is, the atmosphere is going to be different. So those things do play into it. It's kind of a wild thing when you think about it, but that's the truth. So yeah, that's why. All right. Let's see here. Comments. Now it's time for comments. I can't see every post. So if somebody's grumpy about it, I can't see every post. And when I'm in the middle of talking tropics, I'm going to talk tropics. When I'm in the middle of talking local, I'm going to be talking local. So now that I've hit like a pause point, now we can start talking other topics and moving on. But if I'm in the middle of one thought, I'm not going to zigzag around. I already have enough ADD undiagnosed, by the way. So yeah. Eric's asking, how bad is the dust off Africa? Will it slow how many storms form? The dust is there. It's not blown off significantly, right? But you can see like there's some African dust around Cindy, and that's these kind of orange colors. There's a lot of Saharan dust out into the Caribbean, and there's a pretty good amount out over the main development region now, which is one of the reasons why that system behind Cindy back here, one of the reasons why the computer models are not so bonkers on that developing, and why we may have a little bit of a break out there. That's why. All right. Let's see here. Other comments, questions, anything. I'm just kind of going through. Do you foresee either storms re-strengthening? Not really. I mean, they're headed into quite hostile territory. And Janet's asking anything behind Cindy. Yeah, you've got this thing back here, but the models are not really going bonkers on it because there's a lot of Saharan dust and wind shear and all of that. Kelly says, boy, that's a fact. You do have ADD. It's true. Undiagnosed, but it's a thing. I asked about rainfall way before you went to the tropics. Just saying, well, if I didn't see it, Chris Pearson, I didn't see it, sir. I'm going to end up stopping doing coffee talk just because y'all are being putzes. All right. So let's talk. Believe it or not, we're still in a drought, right? Yeah. Leesburg, you were at one point up to like 7 inches behind. Now you're 5 inches behind. It's going to take some time to fill in the gap. And another thing to remember, you don't see Ocala here because Ocala doesn't have an official record-keeping site. So what good is keeping data? Okay, follow me here. What good is keeping data if you don't hit flooding rains in those spots? Suffice it to say, we've had a ton of rainfall, but like the rain this morning has not even yet hit Orlando International Airport, right? Like, let me just move the radar around. Okay, or maybe it's lightly raining. Like, there's the airport. It's just starting. It's just starting to move in. By the way, you see how there's a couple of dots there that are pretty much stagnant. Let me loop this for you. I'll show you. You see there's some... So I've got the radar in pretty sensitive mode. That dot, that's the air traffic control tower showing up on radar. You see some of these dots that show up even when there's no rain? Yeah, that dot is the air traffic control tower. So when the radar is in super sensitive mode, it picks up, like you could see those areas out near Wedgefield and the 417, those are power lines. So when the radar's in quiet and in sensitive mode, it picks up on a bunch of other stuff. But now that the rain's starting to get there, it will count. But even though Ocala does not have an official record-keeping site, I can get the data. Almanac data for a day. Search Ocala. All right, so based on the data, precipitation, like in Ocala, for example, it says that we're roughly 10 inches above where we should be in Ocala for the year. They're not an official record-keeping station, but nevertheless. So it's just one of those feast or famine situations where is it hitting the official record-keeping station, which is at the airports, etc., right? Like that's the struggle that we're in. That's the struggle that we're in. Sharon says, it seems the rain is quieting here in Winter Garden. Will this continue? Yeah, I mean, you'll get a little bit of a break, right? Like we'll pop back up the radar. Actually, in Winter Garden, yeah, so no, you're actually going to get heavier stuff, right? Like you see that stuff west of you? It's moving in, right? It's moving in. All of that fun out near Claremont. Let me just back this up. And you can see all of that moving in. So give it some time. As far as wind goes, nothing too crazy. But yeah, that heavy rain will be moving in. Let me do this. That's 30 minutes. Very slow. Okay, there you go. So yeah. It'll take some time, but that rain will be moving in. Yep. Let's see here. It's fine because, let's see here. Oh, thank you, Karen. Love you, love you, love you. Okay, Chris. Thank you. Still love me. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Whoever's keeping the data is definitely not hitting the save on the spreadsheet. Oh, that's funny. I mean, it is... That's the struggle that we always face. If I'm perfectly honest with you, that's the struggle we always face. Just check, make sure we're still... All right. Just want to make sure, because now that the heaviest rain is moving out of Orlando, I'm going to need to start bringing the levels down. Let me move into the metro. Yeah. All right. Let me bring it down 1 decibel. You just bring it up and down 1 decibel at a time. So from 2, we'll go to 3. Let that sweep a couple of times. This is the stuff that we do in the weather department. You don't even have a clue that we do it. Constantly tweaking the radar. Yep. I'm near the airport in Belle Isle and it's raining. Thank you. Yes. We can see that rain there. Yeah. If it wasn't for my interview today at SeaWorld and a few groceries I need to pick up, I wouldn't get out in it today. You know, I've got to pick up Eric. Eric is too big for his little toddler bed, so he's got to go into a big boy bed. I can't even believe that. Yeah. All right, so that's where we're at with the tropics. That's where we're at with our local forecast stuff. Any questions about anything? I'll pop up the 7-day forecast while we're discussing this. Today, showery, stormy. Little by little, we'll get a little bit of a break in the middle part of the day, and then we'll do it all over again this evening. Storm chances, though, next week. It does look like next week, we finally get back to normal. Thank goodness. Whew. I'm done with it. I am done with it. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything? What about storms later today? Is Denellen and Ocala going to get swamped? I would say it's possible. Yeah, I would say it's possible. What are you going to do? Sorry. Laura, I just want to go to work. Said no one ever. Elizabeth, Leesburg gets a break and then fires up around 12:30 again, right? Yeah, you know, I that's the way it looks, is that once this morning round moves through your area, you're going to end up getting a little bit of a break, and then after that break, we'll see the next round firing up. John, Nancy's relative is flying back to Puerto Rico Saturday. Will Brett be in it? No. Brett is going to stay well south of Puerto Rico. I also have CDO, Chris. Yeah. Gene says my pool is full. Mine too. Danny says, I feel you, man. My son just went to a twin bed. Crazy how fast time goes. Yeah, so we're going to do the twin bed. We're going to get, I think we're going to do like an IKEA deal. And then we'll get like a something a little decent when he goes to a full. Is that the thing? Like twin is the smaller one and then full, right? Like, so when he gets to middle school, we'll get him a big boy bed. But this is the first big boy bed. So yeah. Arthur, Lake Howell alum, class of 82, been gone for a while, but back enjoying Coffee Talk. Well, very cool. Arthur, I'm a Lake Howell alum as well. A few years after 82, though. Only 20 years after you. I always have coffee when I'm watching the radar. You all know that, right? Of course we do, sir. Listen, that's a part of it. I just want to make sure the radar doesn't get too hot. All right, so that's a pretty good spot for now. So all I do is that's our radar, and all I do is I keep checking back and forth between our radar levels and the National Weather Service radar levels. Tampa's further, so this is us. So I think we're in a good spot checking us versus Melbourne. Always. So you see our radar sweeping there. Look at Melbourne. That's the Melbourne radar. That's our radar. So all we do when we're calibrating is just, for day-to-day ops, is to make sure that we are calibrated against the local weather service office. So that's all we do there. Those are just things, like, it's science. So we have a C-band radar, which means that when there's a ton of rain nearby, it drops the signal, which is why the radar got quiet. National Weather Service has an S-band. It's less prone to attenuation, but the antenna has to be bigger. And we looked into a retrofit at WESH, but we would almost have to tear down that whole tower and put it back up, and that's just not going to happen. So all it means is that when there's rain around the radar, we have to come and we have to manually do some tweaks. That's okay. It is what it is, right? Kelly says, I walked out of IKEA with a bar stool, a French press maker, meatballs last week. Hey, there you go. Yeah. Devona says, I suggest a full bed, then you could lay next to him. So, couple things. I mean, I was laying next to him in his little baby bed, but the problem is Eric and Alexander want to sleep in the same room together. So we have to be able to fit 2 beds in there. I don't know if I can, and we're going to just have to take measurements. This morning is measurements. This afternoon is probably purchasing. We have to figure out how to put 2 beds because Eric and Alexander at this phase of their lives, they want to be together. We figure by the time that they get middle school, they're not, and that's when we can get the bigger beds. I don't know. Parents, chime in. What do you think? That's where we're at. Got our son a loft bed with a desk underneath. When the kids get older, I think that's an opportunity, but we're not there right now because, little guy. There you go, Oliver. The beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. I could just picture the guy with the noise effects, and yeah. That's correct. It's just their house, and we're living into it. Yeah. No, Brian, we're not. When we get into the summer-like weather pattern, the criteria for calling the first warning weather days changes. And so because of that, no, we're not going to be doing that because we get severe weather threats just about every day. So yeah, we did bunk beds for our girls. They want to be in the same room now, but the beds come apart when they go into their own rooms. Interesting. Yeah, I think we'll do bigger beds down the road, but yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything whatsoever? Hey, it's not light out, but it's not like hurricaning outside my house anymore. That means I get to take Stella for a potty break. She's going to love that. Every day during the summer is a first warning weather day. That's kind of true. I mean, that's just the way it goes. Oh, global models. All right. Real quick. I forgot. All right. So, and I'll hit the basin here. So, GFS models, what we're looking at. You can see in the Caribbean there. Okay, wow, you're being grumpy this morning. All right, there we go. So, there's the 2 systems, the 2 purple dots at the bottom of the screen. There's Brett weakening, Cindy lifting north. And interesting, the GFS wants to actually kind of bomb Cindy outside of Bermuda. But notice the Atlantic tropical basin is quiet afterward. So there's that. And then around July 4th weekend, oh, look at you, little something in the Gulf of Mexico wanting to sneak up there. You see that? Interesting little thing. I think, though, that's 280 hours out. I think that's the GFS doing GFS things and trying to throw a fake CAG out. So I don't believe that, but there's that. And nothing else of note. Another decent Cabo Verde wave there. All right, so that's the GFS. Let's switch over and look at the European. Both storm systems. Brett fading in the Caribbean. No big deal there. And then there's Cindy weakening. Yeah, okay. All right, so there's your global models. Nothing too concerning. Important to note that, people, all right? All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see y'all later. Bye.